Hello and welcome to Mindset Monday. Thank you for joining. And today we're going to be having a lot of maths over the next couple of months during the summertime. And it doesn't only apply to maths. We've got a lot of children who have struggled over the last year with having to deal with things that weren't designed for children to have to deal with alone. So working online without enough support because parents are working. And there's some, I'm not going to use the word, I'm not going to say catching up. It's not about catching up. It's about healing some wounds that have happened. It's about learning how to enjoy learning again, experiencing the joy of learning again. It's about, I'm looking for alternatives for catching up. It's about deepening understanding. It's about changing mindset. It's about mindset. It's about shifting from the Carol Dweck, the big, let me make sure you've got her name so you can, because you wouldn't really know how to spell it. If I'm going to just type, have I got, yes, I've got it here. Sure, there you go. Carol Dweck is a Stanford University professor, psychologist, and she's done a lot of research over the years on what she ended up calling mindset. And we're going to talk about that, but we're going to talk about it specifically in the area of learning and giving you lots of ideas and insights into how you can apply it. Now I better get my pen and my paper ready to do my 10 tips at the end, which we had technical difficulties, so I didn't start. We'll only have half an hour for this session. And so hello everybody, my name is Caroline from Bubbly Maths, and we're here to talk about mindset, it's Mindset Monday. And I started learning about mindset some time ago, and then I read Carol's book. Oh my goodness. And Joe Bowler, who is somebody who in the maths arena, Joe Bowler is like our go-to person. She's written lots of books. And then the other person that I'm privileged to work with was the founder of a website called Enrich. And she founded Enrich and the Aiming High website, which is what we use for our resources. But she founded Enrich. And so between Joe and Tony, and of course other wonderful people in the maths, in maths education, we've got some incredible resources at our disposal. Joe and Carol both worked at Stanford University in California, and they started applying the mindset concept specifically to learning mathematics, among other things. But one of the focuses was learning mathematics, because there's so many young people out there. Well, there's so many adults that when I tell them what I do, hello, my name is Caroline, I'm the founder of Bubbly Maths, and we make maths fun. They go, oh, where were you when I was at school? I wish we'd had you when I was at school. And what Carol and Joe have been investigating is the mindset around the difference between someone who loves to learn maths and someone who hates maths, and those are the two extremes. And what Carol came up with is two labels, two conditions, two statuses. One is a fixed mindset, and the other is a fixed mindset, and the other is a growth mindset. And let's get a fixed mindset. That's it, a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Those are the two conditions that the labels that Carol came up with. But what they describe, and the things most people, I'm sure everyone's fixed in some way, and everyone's growth in either in a few ways or many ways. My areas of fixed mindset are some aspects of mathematics. I had a belief that I couldn't do art because I was rubbish at school. And then it turned out I was a really good balloon artist, balloon sculptor, and bubble sculptor. So, which sounds a bit odd, but yes, soap bubbles, bubble artist. So that's a very wide, the word artist is a very wide definition. An area which I had no interest in was English literature. Love to read it. Don't ask me to write reports about it. So it's, to this day, I really have no desire whatsoever to write a report about a work of literature, although I'm quite happy to talk about it. I don't want to write about it. And yet I'm happy to write about early years learning. That's my particular area of interest personally. And so, yeah, I'm happy to write about that, but don't ask me to write about Jane Eyre or any of the Russian writers. Don't even ask me their names. Baryshnikov. No, I'm just being silly now. I'm not even sure what he was. Memory is not my forte. Is that a fixed mindset thought that memory is not my forte? Possibly. And you know what? It doesn't matter as long as I'm prepared to learn. Now, other people might be like me. The reason why I am so passionate about helping children get over their trauma, the maths anxiety, the hatred of maths, the oh my goodness, some children really suffer when it comes to maths, and others simply just struggle and kind of they feel stupid, and that's a fact. A lot of children, if you ask them, that is a research paper that was done, was this lovely colleague, not personal colleague, but someone I attended a talk that she gave. She did research, an item of research, and she asked children what it takes to be good at maths. And these were little children, about 5, 6 years old, around there, maybe 7. And they said, you have to be clever to be good at maths. You have to be fast at working out numbers. And the conclusion was, if they weren't good at maths, they were not clever. And this is a state of mind, a belief in oneself that can affect you your whole life. Now, you can get over it and get good at other things. Like a friend of mine at school, she didn't like maths, but she was really good at languages, and she has an excellent mind, and she knew it. So she excelled at what she excelled at, and she's like, well, you know what? I don't do maths. I'm not good at maths, and that's fine. And she just let it go. She did enough to get by, but it didn't affect her self-esteem. She just don't talk to me about maths. But it didn't affect her self-esteem, and she remains in growth mindset about everything except maths, and that's doable. I'm kind of obsessing on maths here, but that's because I'm kind of obsessed with maths. I mean, it's not a coincidence that the organisation I founded is called Bubbling Maths, and I'm going to talk about as well our maths camp, our summer camp that we're doing this summer, which is called Happy Maths Summer Camp, and it's not a, oh look, we've got some nice, that's not very pretty. There we go, that's better. Oh, it's a bit of a storeroom behind there. And so it is all about mindset, and it is about, right, the reason why I do what I do is that I actually wasn't very good at maths. I'm still not. When one struggles with memory, one can learn something one day and have forgotten it the following day. Now, there are some things that I don't forget the following day, or I used to be one of those people that would swat for an exam, and then, thank goodness, I had it all for the exam, spewed it out, well, with my pen, and then a month later, don't ask me what it was in the exam. So I was able to do that. And I was actually able to do that with a lot of things with maths as well. I revised. I was very good at revising, and I was very good at getting it down for the exam. That only serves you up to a certain level. There's a level after which that does not work. But having said that, I did manage to get my degree in electronic engineering. So how does one do electronic engineering? For your information, you heard about calculus, you heard about algebra. Those two are, you cannot get a degree in electronic engineering without being able to do calculus and algebra. And it's any kind of engineering, calculus and algebra, both are, and at least the engineering I know about, structural engineering, mechanical engineering, all those things, they're all real life. They've got real life factors in them. Therefore, you've got to be able to do the calculus, because that's where the variables come in, and the algebra, that's how you work things out. So how does someone who's not good at maths end up getting a degree in electronic engineering? I never thought about it at all until I was 42 years old. Yes, indeed, 42, the answer to life, the universe, and everything. And I was 42, and I kept hearing in the news how children leaving school without numeracy skills, that hated maths, adults whose life was affected by not being able to do maths, who ended up with dead-end jobs because they didn't have the math skills, and they just believed that not doing the maths has destroyed their lives, or limited their attainments anyway, their achievements. I thought, we can't have that. We can't have that. That's not right. There should be no one in this world who hates maths. There's no reason for it. And I'm someone who can't do maths, or has difficulty, struggles with, whatever you want to call it. And yet I managed to succeed with maths, at least enough to get my degree and therefore have a professional career. So what's the difference between me and the other children that gave up with maths? Perseverance and determination, but I'm sure that those other children had perseverance and determination in other ways, like, for example, football players or artists or people that end up being really good at something else. They've got perseverance and determination, which is required. Believe you me, it is required. Perseverance and determination are absolutely essential for maths. But it's more than that. It's enjoyment. You've got to enjoy the process. Now, how do you enjoy the process? That is the key to our summer camp, and that is the key to a couple of bits I'm going to show you now. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at, I'm going to do my best to share my favorite website in the whole wide world. Now, this website is written by Tony, and a lot of the resources are written by Tony Beard. And Tony founded this organization called Ainslie. She founded it in about 2003 after she retired from Enrich. And Ainslie was, she and her husband went to South Africa because he is a professor of mathematics for Cambridge University, and he was lecturing for AIMS, the African Institute for Mathematical Sciences. So these are all postgraduate activities. And Tony, as a teacher and someone who'd been who spent the last 10 years or so creating activities on the website so the whole world could benefit from them. These are rich mathematical activities that are enjoyable. Actually, let me show you the Enrich website now that I think about it. That looked nice and cool on a hot summer's day for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere. So there's enrich.maths.org. Tony set that up. think, to 1996, around there, 95, 96. And this has activities for people of all ages. And we've got maths at home here. There's age 5 to 11, 11 to 18, 16 plus, 0 to 5. Oh, 0 to 5. I didn't know there's 0 to 5. That's exciting. Here we go, 5 to 11 again. I'm not quite sure that perhaps some of them are teacher resources. 11 plus, I'm going to have to, this has changed actually, so it's time for me to have another look at it. This is a great resource for you. In fact, I'll put it in the, I'll make a little thing that goes across, a little banner. Create a banner, enrich.maths.org. Banner. And show the banner. There you go. There's enrich.maths.org for you. And then when she retired from that, when her husband they went to South Africa to, the objective was to help the learners there. These are, in her husband's case, it was postgraduates. So it's people that have a degree in science, engineering, economy, anything like that. Or mathematics, of course. They could actually go up to a high level and have some really excellent tuition in order to get, and there were people coming from all over Africa. So it's a Pan-African organization, and it's for people that couldn't afford to go to the UK or America or France or wherever to further their education. AIMS was able to cater for at least a cohort every year. Now, while that was happening with the mathematical sciences, postgraduate, Tony was asked to provide some courses for teachers so that they could provide better education in mathematics. And so look at this website. So what we're going to be doing during the summer, we're going to be using this, and we're going to be playing games. Now here's one. Now, it doesn't look like a game, but it is actually, you can use it as a game. It's a way of understanding fractions. And you can print this out or just draw it out and cut them out, and you can actually manipulate the shapes so that you can understand fractions better. Now, that's a game. That's not really a game, but you can treat it as a game. But there are specifically games on this website, and we're going to be playing these games during the summer camp. This all starts after school ends for the UK, which is mid-July. So in about a month's time, we'll be starting the summer camp. So there is a link in the description if you want to inquire about it. Please do, and we will get in touch with you. So we've got, look at all these games. We've got games for a whole class. So this is specific catering for a group of people. We've also got a lot of games for 2 players. This is one of my favorites, and I've done this. I've played this a number of times now, but you've got rock, paper, scissors, and then splat. I don't know what the children say. They say something. You can either have paper beats rock, paper's beat by scissors, rock beats scissors, and paper beats, I'm being systematic now, paper beats rock, paper is destroyed by scissors, scissors beats paper, rock beats scissors, and that covers everything because we've dealt with rock twice. And but then there's another process, which is, this is my favorite, one of my favorite things. You've then got this 7 cycle. Let's see if I can make it bigger. You've got a 7 cycle. Whoa. This bit here where you've got rock, fire, scissors, sponge, paper, air, and water. So you've got all these extra elements, and kids absolutely love it. There's one with 5 as well, by the way, here. And one of the great things here is, first of all, they've got to actually work out, like if they can draw it, which ones beat which ones, and find all the different cycles that where and it's got to be fair. This actually game is designed to be fair, but you've got these ways of describing it, these ways of tracking it. These are called two-way tables. And all of this, while you're playing a game, if you use these activities, is a great way to become a more disciplined, which sounds counterintuitive. But if you actually use methods of recording and you use it while you're playing a game, then you're going to use it when you're in class. And what it's going to do is it's going to give you more clarity. So once you start using the two-way tables, you become familiar with using two-way tables, you start using them for lots of other things. They're very useful for probability and various different activities. But it's useful to evaluate what you're looking at. We've got we use two-way tables. Tony uses two-way tables in a lot of the AIMSEC activities. Now let's see what else we've got. What other games are we going to be playing? So rock, paper, scissors. Oh, and. Let me find the previous one. Let me show you. It talks about the splits in China. Talks about the Chinese splits there. Let me see if I can hear the inclusion guide. There might be a picture in the inclusion guide. So every one of these activities, a lot of these activities have these inclusion and home learning guides. Here we go. There's a picture of children in China. That's where Tony found out about it, doing the splits. So every time you lose, you start with your feet together, and every time you lose, you take one step apart. And if you you keep separating your legs until if a person puts their foot on the ground, then they've lost the match, or lost the set or whatever. And you can go either sideways, or you can go front to back and do the splits that way, or do the splits that way. Forward splits and wide splits, she's called it. And it's great fun. And there's YouTube videos to watch, and there's lots of other maths activities to do with it. And as you can see here, it covers from early years, lower primary, and then we've got upper primary, lower secondary, and then there's activities for the ones who are higher up in the school system. Usually there is. Well, this one's high enough, I guess. Some of them end at lower secondary and some of them go right up to age 18. And here we have some other activities. You can see here, everything's cross-referenced. So you've got a huge amount of help here. And it's all about asking questions. It's all about helping. Tony started writing these when I started doing lives immediately after lockdown. I thought, how can I best help? I thought, well, I've got all these activities on Aiming High, so I just started doing lives. And Tony started writing these activities. We were together. I was doing the lives, and she was creating the activities, expanding the activities that have been written for teachers so that they can be used by parents at home. And now the next step is that we're going to be using them. We've been doing we've got to do a Happy Maths Hour, which is coming up in 25 minutes, live on whatever channel whatever you're watching this on. And yeah, so that's one of the activities. And so, yeah, she created a bunch of home learning activities, and a lot of them were based on the games that are on, let's see what else we've got. 5 in a Line. What a wonderful game. 5 in a Line. You've heard of 5 in a Line. Oh, but this is slightly different, because you've got to get 5 in a line on this type of grid, and you can make the grid bigger. There's also one where you have to make squares, and again, this has got an inclusion and home learning guide and lots of other activities within that. Then you've got, these are all games. These we're going to be playing. These are the Frogs Puzzle. Frog Puzzle is so good. You've got to get, you can start with 2 or 3 frogs, and you've got to move all the frogs from one side to the other. So you've got the red-eyed frogs on one side and the orange-bellied frogs on the other side, and you've got to get all the orange-bellied to where the red eyes were, and all the red eyes to where the orange bellies were, but you can only move 1 frog at a time, and all you can do is either move 1 space forward if the space is empty, or jump over 1 frog. That's all you can do. And you can only jump over a frog of the other type of frog. So it's a challenge, and you can start off with 5, and if you find that too much, you can go down to 4 or 3. But once you get the pattern, once you get the system, you start being able to do it. Now, what on earth has all of this got to do with mindset? It's all about I can do it. And it's not just about I can do it. It's how can I enjoy it? How can I do it? I know I can do it. Okay, well, that's a great start, because a lot of people think, I can't do maths. I hate maths. I can't do it. I'm not capable. I'm stupid, blah, blah, blah. So we want, the objective is to get rid of that. And it's like, not, I can't do it. It's how can I do it? So whenever you hear yourself saying, I can't do it, ask yourself, in fact, that might only have one point today. It's how can I do it? Whenever you hear yourself or a child saying, I can't do it, or I don't know how to do that, the next thing that should come into your mind, and want to train yourself to do that, is how can I do it? How can I do it? That is a very good question. And you can also have, who can I turn to for wisdom on how to do it? So what other games have we got? Did I see, was there something else, or was it the Frogs Puzzle? Let's see what other games we got. There's loads of games, absolutely loads of games, and these wonderful inclusion and home learning guides. Now, if you've any teachers watching, they're teachers' guides with all of them, and the home learning and inclusion guides are perfectly good for teachers as well. What have we got? We've got the target game. Oh, there's so many things. There's the game of pig. Target game. I really love the target game, because it's a challenge, and it gets you to do arithmetic, but it's fun. So one of the things that you can do, this is here, you spin a wheel. In this case, it's whatever number comes out, or you can play it where you've got literally 9 numbers, and you when you pick a number out of a hat or something, that's the only time you get to use that number. Or you can just, by spinning a top, you get to use the same number more than once, and you've got to decide where to put them, and you have a target. So the target might be 100, let's say. So everybody can have their own sheet, and this helps with knowing the place value of numbers. You've got units, tens and hundreds. So playing this game repeatedly really helps children get to grips with that, and it helps them, gives them practice in addition, without going, oh my goodness, here's a list of 20 additions I've got to do. Life just isn't worth living. Or you can play a game, do the same thing, and enjoy it. And not only that, you're using your logical brain, because you've got to place the numbers that you pull out of the hat in the best position, so that when you add those 2 numbers together, you get the number that's closest to 100. So even if there's just 2 of you playing, one of you, well, you might end up with the same number, or one of you might get closer to 100. The nice realization comes with the younger learners, is that it can be more than 100. It doesn't have to be less than 100. It doesn't have to be 95 is closer than 110. No, I mean, or 110. It doesn't. You haven't blown it because you went over 100. Although you could play that you blow it if you go over 100. You could play it that way. You can invent your own games, your own rules. So anyway, so that's one of the games. And there's loads here. There's loads. You can just purely go for a number without doing any arithmetic, or you can play with the younger learners using dots, and just see if we can count to 10. Put the dots together, and to get to 10, count 10 dots. If we put that one and that one together, will we have more or less than 10 dots? So much that you can do with it. And what else have we got here? There's one of my favorite ones is Spot the Mistake. Let me just find Spot the Mistake. Now, Spot the Mistake, the main page for it can look a little bit maybe daunting, because you'll see why. You'll see why now. It's all numbers. It's all numbers. But the beauty of it is that you've got to work out what the mistakes are. So you kind of have to do the maths to work out where the mistakes are, and work out what's happening and why it's happening, and what should be happening, and what it all means. And you're doing that in order to find the mistakes. Now, a great way of doing this as well is you can use the examples given here, but any time you've got more than one person or working together, you can spot each other's mistakes. And this goes for any age. I mean, we do it in jobs for grown-ups, but okay, I'm struggling with this. Can you help me figure out, programmers? Oh my goodness. My first job was as a computer programmer. I call them coders these days. I was like, okay, I'm stuck. I cannot get this code to work. So you go to a colleague, and the colleague helps you, and together you look at it. And even sometimes it's just explaining to them what you've done, that you think, oh, I've spotted it. I've spotted the mistake. This is a very, very real life skill. Plain spot the mistake with your colleagues, as in your classmates or your siblings or your cousins or your neighbors. Plain spot the mistake is a hugely powerful way of solving problems. Well, that's it for this week. Please do check out the Happy Maths Camp, Happy Maths Summer Camp. We'll send you details if you send us some information. And what's coming up next on the hour is Happy Maths Hour. We look forward to seeing you there, and see you next week. And the one thing I'm leaving you with this week for the mindset is, instead of saying I can't do it, instead of saying I don't know how to do it, it's how can I do it? Have a great week. See you next week. Thank you very much. Caroline from Bubbly Maths signing out from